or a little bit more than £4 billion surplus on the plans that you had given them.
The way that the OBR forecast works is that they do the forecast before any plan. So this was pre any measures. But the just over £4 billion surplus was not enough. I said in that speech that I wanted to achieve three things in the budget. Tackling the cost of living, which is why I took £150 off of energy bills and froze prescription charges and rail fares. I wanted to continue to cut NHS waiting lists, which is why I protected NHS spending. And I wanted to bring the debt and the borrowing down, which is one of the reasons why I increased the headroom. £4 billion of headroom would not have been enough, and it would not give the Bank of England space to continue to cut interest rates. Just this week, Lloyds Banking Group, the biggest mortgage lender, have cut interest rates on their mortgages, giving much relief to homeowners and people getting new mortgages. Yes. I was clear that we needed to rebuild those public finances.
The reason you didn't tell us that you had, at that point, been advised you had the £4 billion before any measures was that you knew you wanted to do the things that you did do on welfare and reversing on the winter fuel allowance, which you knew about, and so on. So essentially, the point here is that you knew that you were going to want tax rises for decisions that you wanted to make on welfare. It wasn't something that was done to you. These were your choices, and that's why this issue is important. That at that point, you didn't say to the country, we're more or less in balance, but I am going to ask you for more taxes because I want to make a choice to spend more money on welfare, for example. Why didn't you say that at that time? What you said to us is, big black hole, it's terrible.
£4 billion is clearly not enough fiscal headroom. It would have been the lowest headroom.
And you made a choice. You made a choice to double the fiscal headroom.
Yes,
but my point is, you made that choice.
Yes, I did.
And you didn't tell us at the point when you said, you warned us we were going to have to pay, that we were going to have to pay for choices that you were making now.
Yes, and I said in that speech that I wanted to reduce the debt and reduce borrowing. So I increased that fiscal headroom. I'm very happy.
You didn't tell us you were going to tax us more in order to give you an extra £10 billion fiscal headroom.
No, Trevor, that's just not true. In that speech...
No, you didn't say it. Where did you say that in that speech?
I said in that speech that I wanted to increase our resilience by increasing the headroom. I was very clear in that speech.
And welfare spending.
Well, one of the things I did in the budget was lift 450,000 children out of poverty. That was funded through cracking down on tax avoidance, more measures in the budget, and introducing a gambling tax. I always said that to reduce child poverty, it had to be fully costed and fully funded. So the gambling tax and cracking down on tax avoidance and evasion was used to reduce child poverty. That was the right thing to do. I'm very happy to defend my choices on the cost of living, reducing child poverty, reducing NHS waiting lists, and building that financial resilience into our numbers.
Let me put this question to you in maybe a less aggressive way. Why can't you say, I'm a Labour Chancellor. I decided at that point I was going to ask for more taxes in order to do Labour things, which in...
You won't believe what just exploded across yesterday's budget. The entire thing leaked before the Chancellor even opened her mouth. The Office for Budget Responsibility accidentally hit send and gifted us the whole 300-page blueprint. Mansion tax? Confirmed. Threshold freezes? Locked in. Electric car tax? Yep. Borrowing bonanza? You bet. It was the most chaotic, hilarious, accidental striptease in British political history, and veteran broadcaster Andrew Neil was watching it all with the rest of us, jaw on the floor. Here's the killer line nobody can dodge anymore. Britain just got a government it never voted for. We were promised a sensible, moderate, center-left Labour that would not whack working people with tax rises. They swore it on camera 1,000 times. No income tax hikes, no VAT hikes, no national insurance hikes on employees, tight grip on spending. Remember the manifesto? Remember the slick videos? Yeah, well, kiss that goodbye. What we actually got is the biggest tax grab since the 1970s. Public spending baked in at 45% of GDP. Hello, Europe. In borrowing that's now completely off the charts. This wasn't a budget. This was a full-blown U-turn into old school, 1970s-style tax and spend socialism. And the worst part? The voters never signed up for any of it. Andrew Neil nailed it. Britain has become a European-style social democracy. But without the European-level public services, we're paying Scandinavian-level taxes for a third world waiting list and an NHS that runs on facts, machines, and prayers. Productivity inside the NHS is 20% lower than pre-pandemic. Give it back to 2019 levels and you'd magically find $50 billion enough to slash taxes tomorrow. But guess what? That would mean taking on the unions, and this lot are terrified of their own backbenches. Meanwhile, the strivers, the people who set the alarm clock, drag themselves to work, pay the bills, just got shafted again. Personal allowance frozen. Thresholds frozen for another 3 years. 1 in 4 workers will soon be higher rate taxpayers. Nigel Lawson created the 40% ban for the super rich. Today it hits nurses, teachers, police sergeants. But if you're on benefits, fully inflation linked, darling. Minimum wage, up nearly 7%. Triple lock pensions? Safe 2-child benefit cap? Scrapped. Who pays? You do, the sucker who bothered to get a job, the chancellor. Stood there claiming, these are my choices. Really? Because number 10 had its fingerprints all over this. Starmer and Reeves caved to the soft left rebels who screamed the loudest. This budget was pure political survival. Keep the backbenches quiet. Keep the bond markets asleep. Pray the pain lands after the next election. But the pain is backloaded genius style. The monster tax rises, including that frozen threshold bomb, hit in 2028-29, literally 1 year before the next general election.